Donald Trump is not responding well to his former defense secretary, Jim Mattis, calling him out pretty aggressively in a statement to The Atlantic. So Mattis actually denounced Trump and his actions in a statement to The Atlantic following Trump's decision to viciously attack the peaceful protesters in D.C. just so he can clear the way for his ridiculous photo op, right? So we've all seen the videos. It was terrible. And now Mattis is speaking out, and here's what he wrote. When I joined the military some 50 years ago, I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution. Never did I dream that troops taking the same oath would be ordered under any circumstance to violate the constitutional rights of their fellow citizens, much less to provide a bizarre photo op for the elected commander-in-chief with military leadership standing along. Donald Trump is the first president in my lifetime who does not try to unite the American people, does not even pretend to try. Instead, he tries to divide us. We are witnessing the consequences of 3 years of this deliberate effort. We are witnessing the consequences of 3 years without mature leadership. And then finally, he says, we must reject any thinking of our cities as a battle space that our uniformed military is called upon to dominate. At home, we should use our military only when requested to do so, on very rare occasions by state governors. Militarizing our response, as we witnessed in Washington, D.C., sets up a conflict, a false conflict between the military and civilian society. And just a quick note, when he references the word battle space, what he's referring to is a word that was reportedly used by Mark Esper in describing the area where the D.C. protesters were peacefully protesting. And, Esper rightfully got a lot of backlash for that. Now, Trump, in typical Trump fashion, responded on Twitter in the way that you would expect him to. Here's Bunker Boy's statement. Probably the only thing Barack Obama and I have in common is that we both had the honor of firing Jim Mattis, the world's most overrated general. I asked for his letter of resignation and felt great about it. His nickname was Chaos, which I didn't like, and changed it to Mad Dog. But did you? I think Mad Dog was his nickname before he even joined the administration. I mean, I could be wrong. Also, he says his, meaning Mattis's, primary strength was not military, but rather personal public relations. I gave him a new life, things to do and battles to win, but he seldom brought home the bacon. I didn't like his leadership style or much else about him, and many others agree, glad he is gone. I didn't know that the defense secretary was supposed to bring home bacon.
Okay, so much to say about this. I think Jim Mattis put out that statement as a signal not to American citizens, but to the U.S. military. That was a long way of saying, remember your oath to the Constitution. I think he's worried that not only is Donald Trump going to use the military inside the country, but also use it to try to hold on to power. And so that was a shot across the bow to say, remember, if you're in the military, do not listen to this madman. And it partly worked because Mark Esper then came out and said, well, look, I didn't really mean battle space, and I didn't know that was a photo op, and no, we should not use the Insurrection Act and use the military inside the U.S. So, in a sense, mission accomplished. In a sense, he brought home the bacon there, if you will. Now, onto an amusing part of the story. Donald Trump, in the middle of a pandemic, 108,000 dead, 40 million now, more than 40 million unemployed. We got tanks rolling down the streets. I mean, civil unrest. In the midst of all this, his retired four-star general, former defense secretary, his own former defense secretary, comes out with a serious screed against Trump and in favor of the U.S. Constitution. And his response is, oh, yeah, I changed your nickname. Oh, my God. I mean, that's why Mattis put in there the thing about needing mature leadership, because he worked with him for 2 years. He knows he's a child, a total, utter child. And Trump's response to that is, oh, you think we need mature leadership? Well, that's why I changed your nickname to Mad Dog. And Anna, you're right. No, he always had the nickname Mad Dog. Trump's a madman. He's like, no, I don't. I gave him the nickname. I gave him the good nickname, not the bad nickname. Oh, I'm such a good nickname giver. You're president.
It's amazing. And also, I think like it was his nickname before because he likes that nickname. Like you know what I mean? It was like a nickname given to him in admiration for his hawkiness. Like it's just amazing that Trump is like, oh yeah, I'm the one who gave him that nickname he really likes. Oh, bravo, bravo, you're a real leader there. He's just so sad. Like he's just a sad, pathetic, weak, like child. And I just can't get over like the fact that he's this way, that he's again the most powerful person in the world who has all this he's had all this privilege his entire life. He didn't have to work a day in his life. His daddy handed him over $400 million in his inheritance, and with all that privilege, with all that luck in his life, he still thinks he's a victim, and it blows my mind. Anyway, I do want to note that there are people in this world who are actually more pathetic than Donald Trump because they defend him no matter what, just to stay relevant. People like Senator Lindsey Graham. Watch.
The thing I would tell General Mattis is that you don't quite understand that from the time President Trump wakes up to he goes to bed, there's an effort to destroy his presidency. And I would ask General Mattis to look at the behavior of the politicians in these cities and see if you can find fault with them. It is so fashionable to blame President Trump for every wrong in America. And he can be a handful. And can he do better? Yes. But the problems we have in America today weren't caused by Donald Trump. To General Mattis, I think you're missing something here, my friend. You're missing the fact that the liberal media has taken every event in the last 3.5 years and laid it at the president's feet. I'm not saying he's blameless, but I am saying that you're buying into a narrative that I think is, quite frankly, unfair.
People are not nice to Donald Trump, and I think it's unfair. Sure, he violated the Constitution, but is that really a problem when people are mean to the most powerful person in the world? I want you to think about that, General Mattis. Pathetic.
Yeah, speaking of nicknames, I'm always amused by doo-doo. So Lindsey Graham comes out and says, now remember, that is my precious, precious boo-boo. Anyway, Donald Trump, remember, Trump doxed Lindsey Graham during the primary.
Have some self-respect, Lindsey Graham, just a little bit. God.
He insulted him in the most outrageous ways, and then gave out his phone number and told everybody to call him and call him those stupid names until Lindsey Graham had to change his phone number. Now he's out there licking Donald Trump's boots. Okay. And every day, this servile little pathetic man walks into his office knowing that he got unmanned by Donald Trump, and he thinks, oh, but he's my new master. Ooh, I gotta lick his boots real good. Nobody gonna lick it better than me. That's Lindsey Graham. That's doo-doo over there. So go ahead, lick away, Lindsey. Lick away. You're pathetic. Maybe if you're lucky, he'll find you relevant again to dox you again.
And I just want to note, there were other retired generals who spoke out, including retired Marine Corps General John Allen, who said, the slide of the United States into illiberalism may well have begun on June 1st, 2020. I'd argue a little earlier than that. Remember that date. It may well signal the beginning of the end of the American experiment. And he also said it wasn't enough that peaceful protesters had just been deprived of their First Amendment rights. This photo op sought to legitimize that abuse with a layer of religion. Donald Trump isn't religious, has no need of religion, and doesn't care about the devout, except insofar as they serve his political needs.
In this case, the generals are right. And look, guys, we're not overly deferential to the generals. We're not MSNBC. We don't think they're always right. In fact, I'd be shocked if I didn't disagree with Jim Mattis on 90% of issues. And I know he's way too much of a war hawk and interventionist, etc. But even the right-wing generals are saying, watch out, watch out. We might even have a coup. For God's sake, not this guy, anybody but this guy.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.